Hey guys, JG here. Before this video gets started, make sure to subscribe to the TMK channel for all of our content. We got JG's Movie Night, we got Look Ma No Helmet, and our newest edition, Obscurities of the Silver Screen. Now, it isn't necessarily a new show. Obscurities is a podcast I would do with Remy Grey, and we watched movies we never heard of with zany titles. Now, we're interested in making new episodes for YouTube and podcasting platforms, but in order to do that, we need your help. If you like this podcast and you find it funny, you want more, help us get this video to 1,000 likes. I know that sounds crazy, right? But hey, let's shoot for the moon, why not? Tell your friends about it, share it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, I don't know, is Tumblr still a thing? Let's do that too. If we all band together, we can resurrect this amazing show. Thanks for listening to my little spiel, and now sit back, relax, and enjoy Obscurities of the Silver Screen.
Gather round the cauldron fire, children. This week on Obscurities of the Silver Screen, our dashingly handsome heroes go into another movie they knew nothing about and left knowing less.
I literally know nothing at this point.
Who are these brave souls? The Knights of the Obscure.
Huzzah!
I'm JG, that's Remy, let's get obscure.
Yeah!
Welcome back to, what is this, episode 5 now of Obscurities of the Silver Screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I am JG, and this is Remy, joining us full-time now.
Hey!
Yeah. Remy, what movie did we watch this week?
So we watched, Radical Footsie Trolls.
We watched a movie called Six Sock Monsters from Outer Space, and wow, this movie was just something else.
So, for the first, I would say it was probably the first 5 minutes of watching it, we almost stopped because we were like, couldn't follow
I don't know what
anything.
the hell is going on. And the thing is, it's one of those movies that it's not very clear, yet it throws so much information at you at once that you're just like, wait, what's going on right now?
So it's
just to set the tone. It's like it was made in Italy, so it's an Italian film made just a few years. 2015 is when it came out, and oh my god, this movie was just incredible. And so it's basically all the characters are like these sock puppet characters, they're all made of socks. And I made the joke to Remy that this guy totally stole all his roommate's socks and was just making this in his bedroom, and his roommate's like, where the fuck are all my socks? Opens his roommate's door, and his roommate's like, oh, what? You're not supposed to see this. Go away. I'm not doing anything.
And that is kind of how it feels. There is one live action character, and it is a holographic human face.
Yeah.
That is the president.
The leader.
And
King Gregorio or whatever.
Yeah, King Gregorio the 22nd, I believe his name is.
Yes. But first of all, before we get into the movie, we put the disc into the DVD player, and we get this greetings from the president of Troma, which is Troma is the company that it distributed the movie on Blu-ray and DVD. And you got this kick-ass song where it's yeah, six sock monsters from outer space, six sock monsters from outer space, yeah. Ow! And it was just just random people at a convention, at a comic book convention.
Some kind of con. And it was a bunch of people playing along.
Yeah.
And I honestly, after watching this film, I doubt that anybody who was dancing along had seen the film.
Probably not.
No.
I believe you. I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
They didn't see the movie.
No. I feel like whoever had made this movie and was at this con was here, put on these sock puppet hands
and just do shit,
dance. Yeah. Because nobody was singing along. It was just music behind them dancing.
Yeah, and then the president of Troma said, we found this movie in Uranus.
because he was a very comical guy for an intro to
He
a film.
he definitely wanted to be a Mel Brooks, and he's not.
I was getting a Mel Brooks vibe as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
He put a one of those jars that you have at parties that's like a big glass. I want to call it a decanter, but it's got that little lemonade drop at the bottom.
Right,
that you,
yeah.
twist up, and then it pours the lemonade out. He had one of those, and he was wearing it as a space helmet as a joke. And then the movie just starts.
Yeah. So the movie starts, and we get like all this writing of
So if I may, it's like a Star Wars space, the little crawl at the beginning, except it's just white, like black background, white text, and
in
it's
just
too much
Arial
information.
text, yeah.
It's too much information. It's giving you like the most detailed background to things that you never see in the film
Right.
to establish something that you already don't understand.
Yeah. Basically, if we can sum up what this movie is about, so 10 years ago, whatever year this movie set in, all right, 10 years before that.
It is the future, or at least some kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, it's in another galaxy, far away.
Right. And they're
which they
far
try to
away
write
from
that
the
in
sun.
the most un-Star Wars way ever, trying to be well, we're not Star Wars, but it's
They
a
did say
galaxy
parsecs.
that is 30 million parsecs away, you know?
Yeah.
So there, yeah. But so you have this kind of godlike being who is trying to, I don't know, tan himself?
If I may.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Okay, so his
Remy
name-
understood this movie better than I did, because there was many times where I was like, what the fuck is going
I have
on?
no idea why I understood any of this. But Homeboy's name is Elficio.
Yes.
And he is... Sorry. This thing is so wild. So let's bring it back for a second. So it's this planet or society that is obsessed with self-health.
Yeah,
and,
it's
fitness.
they're dedicated to the cult of fitness and beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all in tip-top shape. Viruses have been eradicated. Everyone
Yeah.
is completely healthy.
And
they're
according-
buff and sexy.
And according
like,
to Wikipedia, Elficio is the personal trainer of the world.
great. Okay, yeah, because that was never explained in the film.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you.
Okay, so it opens on a news announcer documenting Elficio's physique. So it
Yeah,
shows
he was gonna
this-
he was using a tanning lamp.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So it's this sock puppet because it is six sock Jesus.
Six sock
monsters from outer space. I just can never remember the title. So it's the sock puppet announcer.
Which in Italian though, it's also called Dolcezza Extrema, which is the name of the ship. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you know.
So it is this sock puppet announcer giving some kind of news broadcast being like, hey, look, it's Elficio. It's our favorite personal trainer. And then in comes this ridiculous PlayStation 2 graphics CGI buff man with in SpongeBob when Squidward gets his face bashed and he becomes handsome.
Yeah,
He's got
handsome
that
Squidward.
face.
Yeah,
He's got handsome Squidward face, and he's flexing, and his arm accidentally hits a tanning lamp because in that ridiculously long Star Wars space crawl that they have at the beginning, they stated that there is no sun close enough to them to give them a tan.
Right. Because there's no sun within the.
So everybody's really cold. Some people get
Yeah.
radiation heat, and that's how they live. Other people just work out and they live.
Yeah.
So Elficio is the golden god of fitness. So it's this news broadcast, and he's flexing, and his arm hits a sun lamp, and he gets electrocuted and dies.
And everybody goes no.
So he's deemed as a martyr.
Yeah. So 10 years later, on the anniversary of his death, they announced that he's the martyr of the planet. And because of that, they want to the leader, which is King Gregorio, and his tumor thing. He has there's this weird puppet that's this sock puppet that's on top of his head that's a tumor. Well, it looks like a tumor, but he's so if I can give a good analogy, King Gregorio is like George Bush. And then this tumor puppet is like Dick Cheney. He's actually running the show. Gregorio's just the face, you know? Literally, he's just a face. He looks like from Power Rangers.
Oh, Zordon.
Yeah, Zordon. Yeah. He's like that. He looks like that.
Yeah. And for the record, we're stammering over this because this movie made close to no
Zero sense.
In fact, if you even look on the Wikipedia page, most people complain that there is no plot. But believe you me, viewers, we found a plot.
We found
and we can
the
make
plot.
sense out of this. So,
so now we go to like there's this we go to the spaceship Dolcezza Extrema.
yeah.
Right.
And this is after the news broadcast of seeing Elficio die, and then King Gregorio makes an announcement.
Anointing him a martyr,
He makes an announcement saying that Elficio is a martyr and that he is going to establish tanning showers.
Yes, on every single planet in the solar system.
And tanning showers are literally just bronzer booths.
Yeah,
like,
they make you look
in
tan.
and you look tan.
Yeah, Donald Trump does one every morning.
Yes.
So we just go to the spaceship Dolcezza Extrema, which is piloted by our hero, Pixwoos.
How do we spell his name again?
Yeah, Pixwoos is spelled Pixws.
Pixwoos.
Pixwoos. He is a former rock and roll star.
Yeah, he's washed up a little bit.
Yeah, he washed up a bit.
He had a band called the Crockett's.
Yeah. And and he was like the guitar player for it.
Yeah.
And all his crew members on his ship were also in the band.
Right.
So we're introduced to the drummer, who is also a doctor. And he's complaining that there is no sickness left to cure. Like all the sicknesses, all the viruses, they have been destroyed.
Because they're living in a perfect fitness
Yeah, they're living in
now.
a perfect world, basically,
Yeah.
where everybody just takes care of themselves and everybody is like eating kale and drinking almond milk and nothing else, you know?
Right.
And so he's like complaining about that. It's like, oh, I'm useless now because no one needs me, you know? And so we thought this was never really fully answered, but we thought, okay, he's going to try to like create a virus to like so he can cure, right?
Because it does right after he's complaining about like there's no sickness or whatever, and then Pixwoos, actually the captain of the ship, the washed up rock star, says to the doctor, he's like, "Why am I still having you around if we haven't had a patient in 3 years?"
Yeah, well, no, because he
you're
asked him
dead
like,
weight.
"How many patients have we had in the last 3 years?" And then the doctor goes, let me think about that. None. Like you had to think that it's like, have I? You just go like, have I seen a patient in the last 3 years? No, I haven't. Okay, so none. How about in the last
I've never
10
seen
years?
a patient in my life.
Right? Yeah. So we get this. So this is the plot. This is where this spaceship comes into play in terms of the whole movie.
Because for the record, it did just like drop us from Elficio's death, and then he becomes a martyr, and then the president is establishing all this shit with the tanning salons, and then it just goes to some random ass ship.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but so we see that the ship is being tasked with delivering the tanning beds or the tanning showers to all the planets in this galaxy.
Right.
That is their mission.
Right.
And so that's when we find out that, Pixwix is he doesn't really like his job. He's forced to do this, really. Like, this is... They never explained like what he did.
We understand
wrong.
that he's disgruntled about his job.
He hates his job as being a regal porter. You know,
Wikipedia describes him as being a pirate for some reason, and I do not see that because he does not.
I describe him as like he is doing what Han Solo did in Force Awakens, where he's like he's a freighter.
Yeah,
now.
he just like scoots things around from planet to planet, and then
whatever people tell him to do, that's what he does. Yeah.
I guess the president gives him kerfufflewitz or whatever the currency is.
Yeah, they change the name of the currency like every time someone brings up currency, they say something else. Like kerfufflewitz and helinomes and gyros and whatever. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
They did say custard at one point.
They did say custard at one point.
It was custard, but instead of a D, it was a Z, so I imagine it's like custard.
Yeah. So then we're introduced to, we just see two puppets just having sex for no reason at all.
Yeah. So after he gets mad at the doctor, then there's just puppet sex.
Yeah. And then, one of those puppets, the female puppet who just has like two, it's like whoever designed these puppets just took a colored pencil to the female puppet and just put two like nipples.
Two little nips.
Yeah. 2 little nips.
Like she's a white sock puppet and she's got like a kind of BDSM outfit with like stuffed titties and then just like two like boink boink. And she's having sex with this dude and she's
yeah,
like,
and I'm trying to find out what his
and
name
she's
was.
weirdly mad about it. Oh no, it's Crockett. Crockett is the
Crockett. That's his
Crockett's
name.
the guy that she's having sex with. We do not know her name though.
They never said.
Either we missed it the very only time that they said it,
or they never.
Said
all you have
her
to know
name.
is that she's like we can just call her dominatrix because she is definitely a dominatrix.
Absolutely.
You know, and she's like, yeah, you're not giving me good enough fucking sex. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm trying so hard, man.
For the record, viewers, again, we're watching sock puppets.
Yeah.
Like, it's not well done sock puppets either. They're, like, flopping around, and their mouths don't move, so it's just, like, hands moving socks.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching at the time when we were watching that scene. It's like, well, that was no point to it. I mean, it actually does have a point, I guess, to set up that she's a sexual, person,
Yeah.
and that she just like enslaves any guy she wants on this ship. And then we cut back to the doctor, who is like experimenting on this other puppet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking weird because he goes into like we thought that he was mad that there's no viruses. So we thought that he was going to like infect him with something. So now he has a reason to be aboard the ship. But instead, he's having a conversation with this other puppet that we thought he was experimenting on. But instead, he's just torturing this guy because this guy cannot die for some reason.
Yeah, and as we find out throughout the film, they never explain why they have this guy, but
he's just a fugitive.
I think they just have him to take their anger out because he cannot die.
And they're bored.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, you can't die, but I'm sure you can feel pain.
He does scream.
Yeah, so he definitely feels pain.
Yeah.
Which that is a life of punishment I would not wish on my worst enemies. Like, you cannot die, but people are going to cut you up and hack you up and, you know, zap you and beat you up and just give you the worst punishment, and you can't die from it.
During this first interaction with this undying puppet, the doctor stabs him, takes his blood for some reason, and then, like, drips it into a vat and then says, we need more, what was it? Cyanide.
Yeah.
Was it cyanide?
I guess.
I think it was one of those, like, you know, like, oh, it's gonna kill you poisons. And he like drips it into a vat with the dude's blood for some reason.
Yeah.
And then pumps it back into the undying dude. And he's just like, ah, and then cut to
Pixwus. He ODs or something like that. And then
he's okay.
He's
Wait,
drinking.
no, this is one of my favorite scenes. So it just cuts to Pixwus, our rock star captain pirate of this weird ass ship, and he's just sitting next to a giant bottle of beer because this is a sock puppet, and they just put
He
a
likes
bottle
beer.
of beer. Yeah, well,
I like beer. I've always liked beer. I like beer.
you're basically a sock puppet, John.
Brett Kavanaugh is a sock puppet then.
Yeah. Nice. So Pixwus is like drowning his sorrows, and he's like got this giant goblet of beer, and he like chugs it, and then he falls to the ground, and then he has this hallucination or like flashback of when he was in his band, the Crockett's, which is literally all of his crew, which is like all of the sock puppets that they allowed for this budget.
Yep.
Apparently.
They're
And
rocking so hardcore.
it is like a screamo heavy metal nonsense. Like they didn't even
Gwar
dub it.
eat your
They didn't
heart
sub
out.
it. Yeah,
You know?
nice.
That's exactly what it sounded like.
Yeah, it's just like ah!
Yeah,
and then
it's insane.
and then he wakes up from his like drunken dream, and he goes, "That's enough good memories."
What a great way to just end a scene there. It's like these scenes, like they don't like go together. It's just, okay, it's like the guy who made this movie is like, okay, I gotta set this up, now I gotta set this up, and now I gotta set this up. It doesn't have to like go together. We just have to set everything up, you know, and set up our characters here.
Again, like our our Batman and Robin movie review, where it's like it seems like we're just doing pinpoints. Nah, it's just this.
Killer
is how
Clowns
this
was
movie
the
is.
same way too. Killer Clowns from Outer Space was the
Just
same way too.
bounces around.
Yeah, it just does random scenes. Wow. I mean, you know,
Connect the dots, man.
yeah, I'll steal something that Tyler said on his final episode. It's like, you know what podcast you're listening to.
Yeah.
You know, and these are the movies we talk about. But then after that sequence, they land on this really dangerous looking planet. And
because they're going to pick up the tanning
they're going to pick up
booths.
the tanning booths.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that
so
was
then-
ordered by the president for them to do.
Yeah, so
I
then-
don't know why this is the crew that he chose, because they aren't that loyal and
I
they
have
don't
no
really
idea.
give a shit.
Yeah, they really hate their lives and
So
hate their jobs.
I feel like the president just like closed his eyes, pointed his finger, poked a phone booth, and like opened his eyes and was like, "Oh,
That one.
We'll pick these guys. We'll pick Pixelwis."
Yeah. So Pixelus and then this fish type puppet whose name is Tono.
Who's the best?
He's
our golden boy.
Yeah,
it's like if you ever watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he's Tuco.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely is like
Yeah.
that. Tuco's not really a golden boy, but
Well, I mean, neither is Tono.
Tono, yeah.
Tono.
Tuco, Tono, same thing, you know.
Yeah.
They're both those movies were made by Italian directors.
Spaghetti Western, Spaghetti Sock, same thing.
Yeah, spaghetti sci-fi, you know, same
Sock-fi.
thing. Sock-fi. And so they go onto this planet, and Tono looks like a fish, just to clarify, so everybody can get that mental image in their head. And so they're going through this planet, and Tono's like scared or whatever, and he gets sucked away by like this sex plankton monster because Tono loves plankton.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. We did breeze over a tiny little moment right before they land on the planet. It shows Tono looking out the space window of their spaceship, and he sees space sperm, and then explains to the camera that that's actually space plankton.
Yeah.
And then he says, "If only I could have one taste."
Ooh, a taste.
So he wants a taste. I don't know if he wants a taste of plankton or a taste of space air or whatever, but he just opens up the hatch door, and they spend probably 2 minutes choking on no air.
Yeah.
Until they close the door and land.
They're sock puppets. They don't react to
But they do
airless
breathe.
vacuum.
They're constantly like huffing and puffing and having sex.
Yeah, but you don't know what kind of air they're breathing though.
Wily bastard.
Yeah, maybe they have like their rib reserve is so great that all the air they keep in just like stays there forever and ever and ever.
I mean, sure.
So
they land.
Moving along, they land, and then
Tono's excited about like fucking space sperm. Sorry,
yeah,
plankton.
And he gets sucked away by like this sex plankton monster, and who's like, "Don't you want a taste, honey?" It's like, oh yeah.
And she gets into something that I think might be kind of plotty, but it is never talked about again.
Never brought up again.
So it is this like weird claymation, like sexy plankton, if you can imagine that. I'm sure.
I think it was meant to be like a like a little bit of comedy here. And it just I don't think it plays off like that.
I don't know if it was comedy.
No,
it was fucking sexy.
This guy, this filmmaker, honestly, he just loves sock sex, you know.
So it's this like large-breasted claymation Medusa, essentially, with like octopus lower torso, and she's seducing Tono, saying, "Don't you want some germs? Would you like some fermented disease and a side of plankton?" And then Tono's like, yeah, that's, yes. And also because everything was in Italian and our subtitles just said yes it was like Y-E-Z.
Yes.
So he's like, yes.
Oh my God.
And so
amazing.
then apparently they bone or something, because then it cuts back to.
Yeah, we cut back to the ship.
Yeah.
And the sex puppets break up.
Yeah.
Because Crockett wasn't good enough. Like his penis wasn't good enough for, and I'm not just saying that just so I can say penis. Straight up,
she says,
Dominatrix says, "Your penis isn't good enough for me."
What was the exact quote? Because she said like his useless, small, loose cock or something.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. Or she said.
Yeah, that is what
useless,
she said.
small, loose cock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's the end of that. And then we go back to the planet, and
for the record, I'm like struggling to figure out this movie still. Like I thought I had a grasp on it, but I honestly don't. I honestly don't think I do. So we cut back to
the planet
and Powsy.
Yeah, Pixwus, who meets his friend Boobala.
Oh, dude, Boobala's so dope. So he rolls up to it's literally
and
Mos Eisley.
They share a very long hug.
Yeah,
it's uncomfortably long.
So these weird doors pop up out of the sand as if to block Pixwus out of the town, and then immediately the doors come back down into the sand, and Boobala, his buddy, is like behind them, and he's like, "Hey, your last show was a horrible show. You gave a horrifying performance, and it sucked.
What
you
a
old
shitty thing to
bastard."
say to a
and then
friend.
they give it like a giant hug, and they give a hug for so long, like it is It is so long.
Yeah, it's uncomfortably long.
Like they do
It's
like
funny.
a ha ha ha.
It's like, okay, we can stop hugging now. This is weird.
For the record, at this moment in the film, I like looked over at John and I was like, "Oh, they're buddies. Oh, they're really good buddies.
they're what we.
Oh shit, they're really good
Yeah,
buddies.
if they lived together, they'd be called roommates with air quotes.
right. So then they enter the cantina.
Yeah, and then they have like their own space cantina scene, you know. Yeah, jazz. Jazz is my favorite kind of music. Woo! And so they have basically their own version of that, but it's a little more hardcore rockin', you know.
There are
And-
3 tiny squid women that are singing.
yeah,
that I
and
thought was fun.
Yeah, and they're like singing about like their new president, who happens to be Bubala.
Yeah.
He's the new president.
Yeah.
He's gonna like, you know, he's gonna make the world a better place for his world.
He's gonna make space great again.
Massa. So yeah, so he wants to make the world a better place. And then we go back to into the ship, like to get all the tanning beds or tanning.
Oh yeah.
booths.
So Pixwus makes what's his name again?
Pixwus.
Pixwus. Nice. I did
Yeah.
nail it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pixwus makes a deal with Bubala to get all of those tanning beds that he's required to go get.
Yeah.
So he gets all of them and moves them all onto his ship.
Yes.
And so the deal is done. He says goodbye to his dear friend and they take off.
Yeah. And then we go back to Crockett, who's like eating this chicken mousse.
That's what he says that he made. It cuts to a barrel. And remember, all of this is done with sock puppets. So, like, every single shot of this is either miniature or just practical effects with, like, almost no budget. And it looked like they were mixing up, like, you know, Alfredo sauce with, like, some crumbs in it.
Hold on. I
What?
just got... Okay.
What?
So, remember when we said earlier that...
Chicken mousse sounds disgusting?
Yeah, no, the doctor, like, took some blood from the undying sock puppet.
Right.
Because then in another scene, which we forgot to talk about, but the doctor's, like, looking at, like, this kind of white stuff, which looks like the same stuff that Crockett eats from. What if that's this undying person's blood?
Oh, shit.
And it's, like, it can kill people.
Fuck, we might have to do, like, a comeback to this.
Yeah.
All right. This is part 1. This is part 1 of Six Sock Monsters.
I think we'll be able to fit it all into the episode.
Shitty
you know.
nonsense,
But
another time.
Anyway, so I think that's what's going on. I think that's it's not chicken mousse, because even though it sounds disgusting and that should kill you anyway.
Right.
But I think that's what it was. I could be wrong. Listeners, if any of you have seen this movie and you have better insight, please, let us know.
Yeah, because we are literally pulling at
we're figuring
nothing.
this out right now as we go
This
along.
is the very first time we've seen this, and I felt like I was just shouting at the screen being like, I get it! And then that's as far as we got.
But anyway, so like we'll just move along for moving along sakes.
Right.
Crockett dies.
Yeah.
And
he eats too much chicken mousse.
Yeah.
Foams at the mouth. Dies.
Dead.
Yeah.
And then, so then our dominatrix is like, I need a new sex slave. And she goes to the doctor and is like, I want you to be my new sex slave. And he's like, okay.
Doesn't she even like inject him with some shit? I felt like she did.
Maybe.
Because she was like threatening him. He was throwing around like little syringes and little scalpels. And she was being really sexually aggressive.
Yeah. But anyway.
I mean,
like,
maybe he just submitted.
Who wouldn't to those,
Tiny
those-
little Sharpie
those
dots.
tatas, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we see this new ship kind of floating around. And the new ship...
It's the Empire.
Yeah. So then we see this new ship, and we see like this... We see all this kind of trash. We see a couch, and we see like this wooden horse. And this new ship, like, tractor beams all of them into his ship.
Yeah, because there's just like debris flowing through space,
Yeah,
and it's
and
like
so
a little
grabs all the
rocking
debris.
horse, and
Yeah.
there's like some barrels of some crap, and it's like sucking everything in. We find out, and I straight up think that this is a dope sci-fi thing, that there's a dude who just collects shit that's floating around in space,
And then
he
auctions it off.
auctions it off.
Yeah.
So then there's all these screens inside of a ship, and he's like, "Hey, about to what, Anakin?" And but he's not literally Watto, but he's pretty much Watto. And all these screens pop up in front of him, and it's all these other different ships being like, "Holy shit, I want that dope ass rocking horse that you have." And then all of a sudden, Pixwis shows up, and he's like, "Give me all of those anti-stress pills," because that's something that his ship needs apparently.
Yeah.
And then he eyeballs 27 kilograms of what was it, kilograms?
And it was 12 kilos, I think.
12. Oh shit, sorry, I'm just like shouting random shit. 12 kilos of sock cocaine.
Oh yeah.
And he buys all of it. So then the trader's ship has like these Doc Ock tentacles that shoot into Pixwis's ship.
And Pixwis wins the bidding war, by the way.
Oh yeah. So he gets all that fun stuff. And then we realize that these Doc Ock arms that shoot into Pixwis's ships are little bridges so that they can run back and forth. And I think that that's a super dope sci-fi thing.
Yeah. And so then Pixwis like gets the cocaine, does some cocaine.
Oh, he does more than some cocaine.
He does a shit ton of
He fills
cocaine.
a barrel of cocaine. And for the record, Pixwis is he has like sort of this elephant trunk aesthetic to him.
It's his nose to snort coke.
And he does. He snorts all of it.
He just
and
inhales that shit.
He freaks out. Like he goes into like acid trip, cocaine trip.
Yeah, it's space cocaine, so it might have different
I
effects
imagine it's
than
just different.
real cocaine.
Yeah. So he goes on a wild fucking journey where he sees his master,
like his musician mentor.
I
or
imagine
whatever.
it's a musician mentor or just somebody
you
who
used to
took
be
it
great.
in.
You used to be a rock god.
Yeah,
you know.
And the mentor's like, I raised you as a son. What are you now? You're just some freighter pilot.
He's Obi-Wan
Like,
Kenobi, basically.
yeah, and he's given Pixwis shit about like you didn't follow your dream. You're just like doing crates and
What if like in this universe, being a musician is like being a Jedi?
where nobody loves you and you don't make money.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. He tells Pixwis that you have to go against what you're doing. You know, you have to destroy the bronze baths. You have to destroy them on the planet Nemesis.
Yeah, he's very specific about where to deliver this shit. Like, homeboy apparition of his master has the plan. And he's just like, take it to this place called Nemesis. It's this god-awful shit planet that President... What's his name?
King Gregorio.
King Gregorio doesn't want to look at because it's so ugly, because King Gregorio is obsessed with fitness and looking good and all this shit, so he doesn't even want to look at this planet. So go drop off all this shit at that planet and
for
just
no
destroy
reason
it.
other than to say fuck you to
Yeah,
King
yeah,
Gregorio.
he's
They never
literally-
give a reason to be like, well, why is he forced to do this stuff like that he clearly doesn't want to do? And I think he did something like we don't know, but I think he's paying. This is like his debt for a crime that he committed or something like that.
I don't
Maybe it's because he's
that,
ugly.
I don't think that it's a crime. Oh, maybe it's ugly. Fuck. Okay.
Maybe he's ugly.
Pin that. That's definitely a cool idea. But also, I think that it's literally that just his music kind of sucked and he didn't make it. So now he's working at Costco.
How
Essentially.
dare your music sucks?
Right. So now his like phantasm in his mind is being like, just destroy all of this cargo and tell the king fuck you.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So Pixwis changes the destination to Nemesis.
And there's also all of these ships that we talked about that showed up randomly that were like the Empire ships that I got excited about. They're all piloted by these weird cloaked figures. And every time they get upset, they kill themselves. And these guys are
it's like
live
the
action.
Shame. I think it's like from the Shame.
It
that
is
they kill
Shame.
themselves.
Yeah. But these guys are live action. They're silhouetted. They have like
it's
those,
like if any of you have seen like the 1978 cartoon version of the Lord of the Rings.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Where they like draw over the live action. Yes. So it is that same. Fuck, dude. What? I'll get out of my dome. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It was just Yeah, so if you've ever seen that live action Lord of the Rings where they color
no,
over
the cartoon Lord of the Rings.
Well, it's live action and they cartoon
they just
over
cartoon
it.
over them.
They do cartoon over it. That's the weird
They
effect.
do.
That
I know.
Yeah.
It looks so weird.
It's like people and then they draw over the people. So yeah, that's the effect.
That's the effect basically. And so
So there's these weird cloaked figures that pilot the Empire ships, and every time they get upset and stressed out, they kill themselves. One dude knifed himself, one dude gunned himself. Actually, another dude knifed himself later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, he's like, oh shit, they're not doing what I told them to do. I'm going to kill myself. And then we got back to the ship, and then for no reason, they're all like just tripping out in cocaine, dancing to some music.
Oh no,
Pixwis's
that's
gang.
because the reason at Pixwis's ship once they're all tripping out is because they opened up the doors again and all the coke flew everywhere.
Right, because Tono opened up the doors and there's
Yeah.
like there's like a fan or whatever, and he accidentally
Yeah.
dropped the cocaine and just like
it blew all over the ship.
ships.
So
Everybody
now
just
everybody
inhaled
is having
cocaine.
space cocaine trip outs,
and it's just like this awesome like 4-minute dance break in the middle of the movie.
which has no point. All
No.
of the other weird music videos, of which I love because they happen like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A plus. Which is actually something that I just wrote down in the notes.
Yes.
Yeah. So then they're just tripping out, but this one has no point. They all just kind of trip out and pass out.
Except then it does, but it proves to be important because then our doctor gets a coke boner.
Oh, he does get a coke boner.
And it's like so massive and so big, and it just won't go away.
And
that
it's
it starts
pulling him
Yeah,
around.
it's like a magic coke boner, and it just pulls him around towards our dominatrix sex demon.
Yeah.
and she like puts on this really weird.
she's wearing a gimp mask.
Yeah, she's wearing a gimp mask.
It's got
and she
like the
puts
zipper
on-
mouth and everything.
Yeah, and then she puts on a strap on. She's like, "Come here, boy."
And the strap-on is like 3, for the record, it's sock puppets, so use your imagination, but it's like 3 pipe cleaners attached to like something that spins. So it's just these 3 pipe cleaners spinning, going towards this doctor's butt.
Yep.
And he's just
And-
like, oh no! And then she, well,
Fucks him in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we see King Gregorio and that tumor puppet again, whose name we never got. And the tumor puppet's like, no, we gotta do something. I know what to do. We can control one of them to change the coordinations back to
bring it back to the home planet or
Yeah,
whatever,
or wherever they have
wherever
to
the
go.
destination that they were supposed to drop off. The tanning booth.
or that they can destroy the control so they'll just float in space indefinitely too.
And for the record, again, just to clarify, we also don't quite know the specificities of if the tumor is on King Gregorio, because King Gregorio is only
know
shown
kind
through,
of.
He's only shown through holograms, and then the tumor dude complains at the very beginning that your hair is too long, and King Gregorio
Ooh,
responds.
wait, I have an idea though of how that is, but I'm gonna bring it up later on.
Sure, that's great.
Yeah, I'll bring it up later on.
All right.
Because they explain more about Gregorio at the end of the movie. So let's move on. And so yeah, Tumor Puppet wants to like control someone within the ship. So
To make
they
the ship guide towards where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, so they send out like this little robot that looks like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Looks
It's like
his
just
helmet.
the top
Yeah.
of his hat.
Just like the helmet, and then it injects Tono with
Our little fish buddy.
our little fish buddy with the serum, but then
It's like mind control serum.
yeah, mind control serum, but it doesn't really work on him too well because it just kind of reverts him to, instead of just going like, I'm a mindless drone who does what he's told, he just reverts to an infant state.
And the tumor even says like, oh no, it only reverted him to infantile.
Yeah, let's hope it works. You know?
So then
the controls of the ship do get screwed up, and like and
Tono fucks it up. Like,
yeah, Tono does fuck it up,
Yeah.
and Pixwus is trying to figure out like what to do. But then Tono comes in with like a disguise, to like change the coordinates.
For the record, you guys are following this as well as we have. So
Yes. So if you guys
you're
are confused, we're just as confused.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this scene was really confusing to us until Remy brought this up, and it makes the most sense to me, and I think that's what it is.
Also,
that,
I've
like,
been going out on a limb for every explanation that I've ever had on this. So I'm just taking shots in the dark, but it seems to make the most sense.
Yeah, so Tone disguises himself, and then Pixwus goes off about going like, "Oh no, the Red Baron is here." But what we think is that Pixwus saw Tono in disguise and was like, "Oh, he's acting a little strange. Let's just play. I'm gonna play along with this."
Yeah.
The Red Baron. Oh no.
Right.
I can't. He's gonna change the coordinates. I'm gonna push you off into this escape pod.
But instead, he like kind of makes it as if he pushed him off a ledge and he dies.
and
But he
dies.
just shoves him into an
An escape pod, because they can't. Their controls they can't move the ship now. The ship is kind of just floating in space, and it's heading towards an asteroid field.
Yeah.
So then Tono goes into this escape pod, and then it goes like in the escape pod goes like Ready Player One, which then I think plays into Tono's like now infant state. And Tono's like, ooh, it's like a video game. Okay, I'm going to play now. And like he cloaks the ship
in
into,
like a tractor beam force field thing. So Tono's escape pod is in front of Pixwis's ship, and he sends a beam behind him into Pixwis's ship, and it covers it in a giant force field, and he's now using it as a wrecking ball
to like destroy all the asteroids in the
because
asteroid
Tono's
field.
tiny little escape pod can sift through all the asteroids, while the giant ship behind him, covered in a force field, just wrecks everything.
And then and so then
And
once
he's
they get
pulling
through,
him towards Nemesis, the
Yeah.
ship, the planet
Nemesis,
that they're going to
yeah.
drop everything off at and destroy.
yeah, and then so once they're through the asteroid field, Tono's escape pod, turns off its tractor beam and then just sadly floats away into space.
And we see him like blink into a star. Rather than explode, it's as if he just, rode off into the sunset.
Tono gave his life.
Yeah, and he won the high score as player one.
Yeah, so sad. Tono lives on in our hearts, though.
That guy. He got it on with some weird plankton girl, too.
Yeah!
Like, Tono had a lot of action during this movie. Yeah.
He got to have sex with some plankton thing.
He did some space coke.
He did some space
He
coke.
played video games.
He had
that
a
was
good
real life.
He had a good life.
Yeah.
And,
And I imagine he's still out there.
yeah, floating around in space.
Yeah.
And so then we move along, and we're almost to the end of the movie, if you can imagine.
Because so far nothing has made sense.
No. And so then Tumor's like, the Tumor puppet's like, well, screw this. I'm going to try to damage that ship before we can even get to Nemesis. So he starts he gets this microphone, and he just starts screamoing towards the ship to damage it. I don't know how that works
If I may. So
Wait, they can
because-
hear him in the ship, though.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think I
Yeah.
know where you're going to go with this.
Yeah. So, because there have been random music videos throughout this movie, like every 10 minutes it cuts to some weird music video that tries to explain plot, but it's not
Right,
really
yeah.
talking about anything. Also, our subtitles on this film were poorly, obviously poorly,
Yeah, they had a bad
transcribed
translator.
or whatever. Yeah. Well, there were some hilarious
It's like
ones.
they probably went straight to Google Translate or something like that.
Yeah.
Where instead of when you're translating a movie, not everything's going to translate word for word perfect.
Right, you
have
gotta
to
translate what it means
Yeah.
rather than what they're saying.
Yeah, the meaning, not the saying. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why if you see any translation of books, you'll get a different reading from different translations because they're not doing just this word means this word, so that's what I'm going to write.
Right.
They just went to Google Translate, I assume.
So because Pixwis had his rock band that was called
Right.
the Crockett's. Also, I weirdly don't recall Crockett being in the Crockett's.
No, he wasn't.
Great. So maybe they just found a dude named Crockett and they're like, dope, get on the ship. So because the Crockett's was like
Or
an
maybe he was
awesome...
the manager of the band.
Oh, you're
Or he
actually
founded the
probably
band, yeah,
right.
maybe.
Ooh, you're probably right.
Who knows?
Anyways, so because they were this heavy metal guar, sort of screamy, rough sound, then the tumor pops out of a head, which we imagine is the king's, and he goes to a microphone and starts screaming, and this blast shoots up at Pixwis's ship. So immediately I was like, holy shit, we have the whole band on a ship. They're going to have a rock battle. They're going to scream back and scream louder and scream harder. And they don't. And it's just the scream doesn't really affect them that much.
Yeah.
And they just kind of continue on.
Except that the undying puppet, then he expands from the
That's right.
screamo music. He expands, then he just floods. He
like,
turns into
inflates.
goo.
Yeah, because of the scream, he becomes large and liquefies.
Yeah, and he just floods the ship, which again does
It's like a
nothing.
scene like The Shining when the blood flows out of the door and it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with the undying puppet. He just blows up and then becomes liquid.
Yep, more cloaked figures kill themselves then again.
Oh yeah, because they're super depressed because they
yeah.
failed again.
And then King Gregorio calls one of the cloaked figures. He's like, "Number 25, you're ugly."
Yeah.
And the
which
guy's like,
was
"No."
Just personal. And then he kills himself.
Yeah, what the fuck was that all about?
Yeah.
Oh, and then at the end of when the tumor is done screaming, he explodes.
Oh, yeah, he just explodes.
Out of nowhere.
There's no reason for that. He just
Yeah.
blows up and it has fire explosion.
Yeah, and then Gregorio's like, "Well, fuck, I gotta I'm the last person who can talk to Pixwis. I gotta talk to him. He's like, get me online with him now." So he does. He gets on the phone with him. Well, telecom or whatever.
Yeah.
with him.
Holocon.
Yeah, and then he's like, let me tell you my story, okay? And
Oh my god, I almost completely forgot about this. This is the most ridiculous backstory I've ever seen.
So centuries ago, King Gregorio and everybody else, they were on a vulva hunt.
A vulva hunt.
And they show like, they go into like full on cartoon mode here, and they just show like these like flying vulvas around, like flying vaginas basically around.
And it's got like angry eyes, and then in between the angry eyes are like pubic hair, and then its mouth is just like the vagina.
Basically, we think it's like, it's a metaphor for genital mutilation, I think.
I guess.
You know, they don't really describe it, or maybe they're just like going to rape women. I don't know. It's either way, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
So they're going on a vulva hunt, but it literally shows a dude with like an elephant trunk for a face, and they're riding on weird green four-eyed horses, and one dude has a giant rifle, and they're shooting at a flying vagina.
Yeah. But then like they
it goes into like the royal family.
Yeah,
and they're all cutting off their body parts
because they're disgusted with how ugly they are.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of gave way to this life of like being obsessed with beauty
and fitness
that the whole planet has.
Yeah.
You know, so they need these tanning beds so that they can be fit and beautiful.
Yeah.
And King Gregorio this entire time is a hologram and has been dead. So my thinking is that, you know, the tumor puppet has been like, when they say cut, you know, why did nobody, when Gregorio at the beginning of the movie is like, why did nobody cut my hair? He doesn't know how his body is being taken care of because he's just a hologram.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
yeah. So holy shit, because the tumor is the only thing. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Because his body is dead, and the tumor is possessing his body, and he's just a hologram, so he's talking to his body's tumor.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay, I mean,
I think we got it.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Again, if anybody knows, please contact us. Let us know.
Yeah, you know the social media to like contact us on. Please go ahead and do so.
It's John.
No, well,
nope.
Yeah.
I was just gonna start shouting things.
It's at OOTSS Podcast.
That's it.
By the way, for anybody who doesn't know us personally, like I go by, like, my professional name is JG.
Oh,
but like,
I didn't know that.
No, it's totally fine, you know. But like, if people don't know, like, you know,
you.
when people call me John, when we have guests on, or just Remy says John, that's just my real name. If you didn't know,
sorry, JG.
Yeah, now everybody knows my secret.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Sorry.
You know.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Oh, right now most of our audience is mostly just friends of ours. Like, you know, they know.
We have 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so back into the movie. And so Pixwis was like hearing the story, and he was just like, well, fuck that. and he just, you know, plunges.
He has a little flashback of his music mentor that he had the drunk dream or coke dream about.
Yeah. And he's just like, well, fuck you, Gregorio. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
You know, he just plunges the ship into the planet.
Into Nemesis.
And also,
Nemesis, yeah. Gregorio had hit the red button that sent the missiles, right?
So, yeah, and so what happens here is that so Pixwis doesn't plunge the ship. He deploys all the cargo onto the planet, and then Gregorio like shoots missiles at the ship, at Dolce Extrema, at Pixwis's ship, and then the ship blows up.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Pixwis and everybody else on that ship. And then, in a sudden turn of events, Nemesis is turned into a sun.
Right, which can now heat the entire planet.
And they don't need those tanning beds or whatever the hell.
So now it's going to make peace on whatever this planet is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we end with a Screamo song.
Yes, we do, because of course.
And that's the movie.
Guys, I don't even know. So please, if you have any insight to this film, we watched it oof, but also I loved it.
I know,
were so many parts of it that I really liked.
Talking about it's kind of like, man, this movie was just weird. But like watching it, honestly, we had so much fun watching it.
It was wild and hard to follow, like you can imagine, because we're having a hard time even explaining it back to you.
Yeah.
But there were so many cool elements about it. I really liked space stress as like a thing that they were dealing with.
And that coke was supposed to be an anti-stress like thing, which like that's not how it works.
Right. This is just extra stress.
Right.
But also there were just a lot of cool little moments, like the little trader dude who was just like siphoning up shit from outside of space and then trading it to people and like auctioning it off.
And just the art direction of the movie is just really awesome.
Yeah, weirdly doing like sock puppets and everything seemed to be on like miniatures, and it was a wild ride.
Yeah. All right, so we're at the end of the episode here, and we have a brand new segment we are introducing to the end of the end of every episode.
Oh, sorry, I got excited.
So We at Obscurities of the Silver Screen, we needed a patron saint, and we found our patron saint in director Ed Wood.
Ed Wood.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Wiggity, 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 wood.
it is time for Ed Wood trivia.
Bada bing, bada boom, bada wood, wood, wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So this is how it's going to work. Every week, I'm going to ask Remy a question about Ed Wood, and we'll see if he can answer. Now, I forgot to ask you this before we started, Remy, but would you like me to give you multiple choice answers, or do you just want to come up with an answer? I wrote some pretty funny multiple choice answers, too.
Okay,
so.
I mean, I'm curious about your multiple choice, but also you should just throw it at me because I don't know shit about Ed Wood.
Okay.
Not that I'm admitting to that, but
So I'm very happy with my multiple choice answers.
All right.
So do you mind if I do the multiple choice answers?
Sure.
All right.
Let's try it. I feel like this is going to be a process. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe we won't have multiple choice. Maybe we will. We'll see.
Yeah, all
we'll
right.
try it out this week since I wrote.
Round 1, multi-choice.
Yes.
It's me, Remy, ya boy.
Yes, Remy. Here is your question about Ed Wood.
All right.
Our patron saint. In his youth, Ed Wood fronted a singing quartet. What was the name of that singing quartet? Was it A, Ed and the Four Elements, B, Eddie Wood's Little Splinters, or C, Four Corner Rhombus?
I mean, it can't be two of those. So,
It can only be one.
unfortunately, I'm going to just guess Four Corner Rhombus because Eddie Wood and the Splinters is the best name ever.
Well, to your surprise, it was B, Eddie Wood and Eddie Wood's Little Splinters.
That's amazing, though. Okay.
I had to come up with names that were like, because that name was just like, oh, that is too great. So I had to so I was like, Four Corner Rhombus. That's a good one, because that just sounds like the worst name
Well,
ever.
because it sounds like something that, like, I don't know, if my name was, like, Ed Wood, I probably wouldn't make a wood pun. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I would.
We've got Woody.
That would be my other band name.
Right? Wow. So that was that was
a rough episode, man. Dude, this film was intense to watch.
Yeah. But hey, it was a fun time watching it, and I enjoyed watching it with you, Remy.
Thank you. I enjoyed watching it with you. I recommend this movie to everyone.
Yes, I recommend it to everyone as well.
2 thumbs all the way up. The only thing is, like,
All the way up socks.
grit your teeth and just bear with it.
It's probably better if you're drinking, because we had a little bit of alcohol while watching this movie, so...
There's kids watching.
You mean listening?
Well, that too.
Well, I would say, though, if you're adults, you know, if you're over the age of 21,
Fucking chug that shit and watch this movie because there's no other way you're gonna get through it.
nope. All right, well, that is our episode for this week. Next week, we got a real great movie for you that we cannot wait to watch.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah. Okay. So I'm so excited about this. I'm gonna make a theme song and I'm gonna sing it when. Oh, actually, fuck. There's already a theme song.
I know, right? Yeah. So next week, we're going to be watching Cool as Ice.
Yes!
Starring
Yes!
Vanilla Ice.
Oh my god!
I'm excited. Remy's excited. All right, that is our show for this week. Make sure to come back next week to hear that show. I am JG. That is Remy.
Yeah, and if you like this show, tell your friends. Tell
Yeah,
your grandma.
please.
Make your dog listen to it. If you have a dog, if you don't find a
Even
dog.
if you hated the show, tell
Even if
people
you
about it
hate
anyway. Yeah, even if you hate dogs.
If you own socks, you love this episode.
Yeah. All right. Have a good evening, day, morning, we're at whatever time of day you're listening to this episode, and we'll see you back next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.